Very nice, isn't it? Nice and cold. Hello, this is the Hungarian project. What you have already guessed that, haven't you? Mostly from the title. I understand. You're very clever. But don't brag about it. So, next topic. News says that glasses make you 20% cooler. So, in my case... yeah. But anyway. Last time, there was a game. And there is no winner. Do you know why? Because no one guessed that was a game. And that was the game. Today, there's going to be a game. A new game. Since you know that there's going to be a game, that's not a game anymore. But then, you have to figure out the rest. So let's begin. The correct answer for last time's game is very easy. It was the first place I ever was in the UK. And that was Clifton. I mean, not really the very first place, because there was an airport before and there was, you know, London and anything. But eventually I got to Clifton and I saw a nice boat. Biggest boat I've seen so far. Seriously. And I've traveled by boat, a ferry, to be honest, from the UK, you know, to the other side. Anyway, so today's game is going to be very easy. That's it. So on the news, it doesn't really matter how many houses a member of parliament in Hungary have in Budapest. If he's a member of parliament, or she, as a member, she is entitled to get a sort of flat aid. So a bunch of money to use in order to rent a flat in Budapest. So if you come from Nyíregyháza or whatever, you know, pretty far place from Budapest, then you don't need to use your salary to just rent a flat. You only need to use your salary to be able to rent a flat if you are not a member of parliament. Which means so every ordinary citizen needs to, you know, needs a place to live. So the problem is with this, that there's a bunch of money to be earned for a member of parliament, and then they have this aid for renting flats and a car or something like that. So they get a bunch of things, and what I experienced or what I've seen so far is that they just, you know, live and don't do anything, which is not really good. And I believe that this is going to be the next. After 66 years of being present in the lives of Hungarians, Malév, our biggest and bestest and firstest and really nicest airline, has closed due to a sort of unlimited debt they had. Now we're talking about billions of forints, hundreds of billions of forints. What happened is that Malév was struggling because I believe they screwed up. I haven't researched this topic much, but I think that they, you know, leadership was not very good. They privatized the company and then they went back to unprivatizing it, and they got aid, very many millions of forints, against the suggestions of the European Union. And now the European Union did one really petite thing. They asked their money back, and this caused the end of the airline. Why did the EU wanted their money back? Well, the first rule was that the money they gave to Hungary, we shouldn't have used to aid Malév. We should have used it to do other things. So naturally, it's you know. Second thing is that, you know, we're not really in a good relationship with the EU right now. So if they want to bully us a little bit, then I believe they could do that. Okay, but why is this such a great problem? I mean, Malév. Well, the problem is that Mali used to carry passengers from all over the world to Hungary. Tourists, businessmen. Now they don't go with Mali anymore. And the problem could be that Mali advertised our country in foreign lands, and now there is nobody to advertise us. So obviously this lack of advertising will lead to the lack of tourists and businessmen, or maybe not the businessmen or businesswomen because they have to go, they have to come to us, but they are not really encouraged to do so. So they may find other business partners all over the world except Hungary. And of course tourists may find other spots because the earth is really, really pathetically beautiful. So this is not an unprecedented thing in the history of mankind. A national airline goes bankrupt, I mean. And other countries used to do very clever things, such as they made the company bankrupt, and then on the very next day they created another company, and things just went on really nicely. However, in this case there is no sign of the government making another company, so I believe that that's it. Now, whoever served Malev as a pilot, a co-pilot, a stewardess, flight attendant, or whatever, a mechanic, they are able to find new jobs in Western-owned companies, such as Alitalia, or British Airlines, or the Turkish Airlines. I mean, that's not really West, but they are, improving. And what it does, basically, is just push our country more to the West. Ultimately, all of the people in Hungary will work for Western or Eastern companies, never to a Hungarian company. Does this mean we can lose our identity? No, not really. I mean, an identity is an identity. I mean, a national identity. If I'm Hungarian, I can teach my kid to be Hungarian. That's it. By the way, if you want to teach anybody to be Hungarian, first rule, never ask questions. And always be the smartest, no matter what, even if you... But let's go back to this topic at a later time. So far, so good. This is a very cold winter. Really, really cold winter, believe me. -20 on the southern part of Hungary. And I hope you understand what's going on here. Usually the northern parts are very cold, especially because we have mountains there. But the southern part with a big plain and there is almost a different climate there. But -20 degrees Celsius, that is awesome. Everybody hates it. And we are constantly hoping that it goes away. It doesn't seem to go away, but we're hoping. Last time there was cold everywhere was in 1950. But those records were overwritten by these new records. -12 in Budapest this time of year is never heard of, except 1950, but I already told you that. So, more politics. Yeah, there is a nice propaganda going on that in the last part of the year, actually the number of employed people has been raised, whatever. So the bigger part of Hungary is working, but that's very nice. But it's like a little peak on a constantly going down thingy line, whatever. So actually, it's the sum of the numbers of people working in Hungary are decreasing, and there was a little pike here. And obviously, this is part of the very, very unorthodox and awesome policy of the government. Yeah, that doesn't seem right, does it? No. Now, obviously, the news is getting or trying to talk about now the obvious, what we have known for a while, that the policy of our government doesn't really work, and the minimum wage is rising and has been risen in the starting of the new year, in the beginning. So what means this all is that we are going to employ less people, we're going to fire a bunch of them, we're going to have to let them go, but, and this is the good part, but we can employ them on the black market. That this is I mean, don't you tell me this is not a good thing, because normally in an ideal country, if a government screws things up, it means that people are going to starve. But people are very clever. I mean, you have to calculate with that. So basically what happens is, if I can't employ you by paying the taxes after you, I just employ you, but, you know, they don't really report it to the government, you see. So it's a natural process, it's really nice. If people are having trouble with the government, they turn to the black market. Now, by black market I don't mean drug cartels and stuff, because organized crime officially is not present in our country. That's the official statement of our central police force thingy. So, no, I don't mean that. I only mean that if you worked for me as a secretary 2 months before or 2 months ago, then you can still work for me as a secretary, you can still earn the same amount of money, except we don't pay taxes after you, which is very good, because there's more money in your pocket. So why on earth people wouldn't recommend this? I don't know why. It's obviously, things are getting worse, because if you don't pay taxes, a lot of government-powered a lot of government-powered things will cease to function, such as police, hospitals, and the fire department. But who cares? I mean, every time there's a fire, we can always give a little bit money to the fireman who arrived to the scene. So everything works out fine in the end. Won't it? So I believe this is enough negativity about Hungary. I'm really sorry that I can't provide you better news, because it would be really nice to hear that Hungary is great and awesome and you should come back. Right now, at this very moment, I don't think you should come back. You're better off out there. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't know about things in Hungary and you shouldn't embrace your Hungarian heritage. So remember, if you have any questions, you can ask. And today we're starting a new history lesson, which is always nice. And that's it. Also, today is the first time that in this episode, or in this series, there's going to be news from foreign lands. Today, it's going to be New Zealand, which is a really nice country, and it's warm out there. Yeah, you bastards. But that's it about Hungary. Now, there's going to be some really nice learning activity, and before that you can watch a little bit more of the nice landscape of Hungary. So off to the learning stuff. Today's episode is obviously not for the faint-hearted, because it's going to be about tj versus dj. These are very, very different but similar sounding letter pairs. Now, do you remember that in the Hungarian alphabet there are letters which are in pairs, but these are individual letters. So when it comes to the alphabet, it goes like this: O, A, B, C, C, D, Z, J, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different letters. Obviously, all the 44 letters are individual letters, which is a little bit more than the English alphabet, although I made this bigger for some reason and this is smaller, but never mind. Okay, so today's episode is going to be about this and this. This obviously, to me, is much more common than this. So when it comes to talking about words, we have many more words with j and only a few with. Obviously, these words are not representing the whole set of words in the Hungarian dictionary, but they are very nice explanations. No. But they are very nice representations of the amount in the Hungarian dictionary. So, let's talk about this. This is tyúk, and this is atya, when you pronounce it. Now, basically what happens is, these are very, very smooth sounds, in spite of the similarity. Now, these are very smooth sounds, in opposition of these things, because these are very hard. Gyakorlás, agy, hortobágy, figyel. Now, when it comes to pronouncing these, it might help you to remember that when you pronounce these, are the basics are very same. You put your tongue on the top of your mouth and then try to pronounce j, ch. Now, when it comes to ch, you remove your tongue from the top very smoothly. You just drop it. When it comes to this, you try to press it against the top. J. Like you're trying to give birth to the sound. It's very, very Klingon-like, very powerful and aggressive. This one it's really nice. Like in the case of tyúk. Tyúk is basically chicken, but the adult chicken, so it's a hen, because it's not a rooster. Atya is the father, but not really the father of everybody. A person, it's really the father of a community, so a sort of religious person. So it's tyúk, which is hen, atya, which is father in the church. So this kind of thing I'm talking about. Gyakorlás. Now it's very aggressive and it means to practice something. Agy, it's your brain. Well, not really a possessive, but it was a really nice to say that that's your brain, not mine. Hortobágy. Even though this is a place, a famous place in Hungary, it's a very, very great plain. It's not the Alföld, it's inside the Alföld. And it's a plain within a plain, so it's a plainception, if you will. Now, even though it's at the end, you have to press it. Hortobágy. Hortobágy. When you're talking really fast, then you sort of drop this, but you are not trying to talk really fast, you're trying to talk in Hungarian. So the priority is not dropping it. Figyel. Now, figyel is to pay attention to something or to listen to something. Not really listen, it's rather pay attention. But it could mean the same at some point. Okay, so these are the words. Let's try them again. Tyúk, atya, gyakorlás, agy, hortobágy, figyel. Really powerful. You have to remember how powerful, how many force we put into speaking our language, especially when it comes to cursing. But today we're not trying to learn cursing. That's another lesson. So that's about it. I know these are just picked by me examples from the language. This is not the whole grammar and stuff, but I believe I talked about the grammar stuff enough times, and now I'm trying to talk about the little nuances in the pronunciation, because pronunciation is a priority in Hungary and in the language, especially in the language. So when you come to Hungary, it's let me tell you this way. When it comes to learning English, I always teach people just to try to pronounce it with a Hungarian accent. So when it comes to talking, you don't have to pay attention to the different accents, you know, American and British and Indian and whatever. So when a Hungarian person talks about something with a Hungarian accent, it's very distinguishable from all the accents in the world, because we use a lot of R's, we pronounce the words very clearly, to be honest. Now, when it comes to pronouncing Hungarian, you're probably used to English. It's very hard because English always smooths things away. It's never a clean pronunciation. Now, what this causes, it's very simple. Nobody will understand your Hungarian. And this is a crucial part in any language. Whatever you say in Hungarian, you have to understand it. Or you have to make other people understand it, sorry. And that's why we're talking about pronunciation. And we're going to talk about pronunciation for a long time. For very, very many occasions. Because it's so big. It's a so big part of our language. And compared to the pronunciation and to the endings, grammar is not really that hard. We already talked about the 3 tenses, and that's it. Okay, now let's get down to business and let's continue with news from New Zealand. So hello, this is the Hungarian Project reporting from New Zealand, if you can believe it. I dare you to believe it. So, what happened recently in New Zealand other than cows, you know, mooing the pastures and constantly mooing their ways and making carbon dioxide or whatever, then you know, send it to the upper atmosphere, causing global warming. I believe that's a rumor. But what happened? What else happened? Now, really, that was a big ship disaster, and I'm not talking about any ship. I'm talking about a very, very big ship, and basically the cargo was a little bit of oil. How much oil are we talking about? No, not really much. It costs, the cleaning of the oil only costs New Zealand to 130 New Zealand dollars. I don't really want to say or think about how many forints is that. We probably go bankrupt. But good news, the oil company or some sort of insurance company through the oil company paid 1 million New Zealand dollars for the expenses. So, practically covers it. Is this right? No, it doesn't. But rumor says the ship is insured of 1 billion New Zealand dollars, so where's the rest of the money? Well, usually insurance companies doesn't really want to pay, you know, as usual. But these things are nothing compared the recent earthquakes, because the costs of repairing after the earthquakes will probably be about 8 billion New Zealand dollars. So, yay! So comparing New Zealand to Hungary is quite easy. We don't have earthquakes, we have a government. That wasn't so funny. Yeah, but anyway. But another comparison is there are Hungarian presence in New Zealand. So, get ready. I have to be absolutely honest with you. When it comes to reading stuff, I don't really translate it from Hungarian because it takes a lot of work. But when I find something in English, well, I only have to read it. So, let's see if this glasses, or with these glasses work. You know, it should be give you an illusion that I'm talking to you, but really I'm reading a piece of paper. I don't know if it will work. Maybe I put it right there and you won't see a thing. Oh, well, no, it doesn't work like that. Anyway, so most of New Zealand's Hungarians came as refugees after the 1956 uprising against communism. That was very famous. You should remember that, because the communists won, a lot of people got killed, and a lot of people fled the country. Well, good for them. I mean, if I lived in that era, I would be probably on the boats to New Zealand right now. Why? Because, well, it seems better than Hungary. No, seriously. I'm not kidding. Except the earthquakes, but earthquakes versus government, I think we've been that road before, so... Anyway, New Zealand reacted rapidly to the Hungarian refugee crisis. Well, a crisis, yeah, and offered to accept 1,000 of the 200,000 seeking refuge. Okay, I have to admit, that's a crisis. When 200,000 people are, you know, stepping in your doorstep and trying to get in, well, that's a crisis. And they don't speak the language, but more on that later. The response demonstrated the country's alignment with the West against communism in a Cold War. Way to go, New Zealand. A total of 1,117 refugees actually arrived between 1956 and 59. They were carefully selected to ensure they would be assets to New Zealand. That's nice. Rumor says the boat trip was around 3 weeks. Now I checked, and I could do this trip, and maybe I will someday, but it costs £10,000 to, you know, to be able to find a boat that brings me there. Actually, the boat would arrive into Australia, so I would need an additional boat. But I believe there's another kind of way to travel through Eurasia and through Singapore and rent a boat there and do stuff. I don't know. It would be fun to do that, by the way, but I don't have the money, so it's going to have to wait. So, settling in. When the first 66 Hungarians landed, you see, it's like a Star Wars, Order 66, oh yeah. That was an awful film, the third episode, that was an awful movie. When the first 66 Hungarians landed at Auckland's airport in December 56, the Department of Labour officials reported that a very bewildered and white-faced group of people disembarked, facing the ordeal of landing, unknown in a new country with strange customs, different laws, and above all, a foreign language. Yeah, that sounds very romantic, actually. I know it sucks, the trip actually sucked, but that sounds really romantic. Adapting to New Zealand life, oh, that's gonna be a bitch. Some of the refugees, particularly young men who were without family in New Zealand, experienced difficulties settling in. Well, I can relate to that. There was a report of drunkenness and fighting among Hungarians in 57. A report of drunkenness and fighting. Well, dude, whoever wrote this clearly doesn't know Hungarians. This wasn't the result of their heart settling in. This was a result of being Hungarian. Young Hungarian. We drink and we curse and we are loud. So, you know. It's so good that you have us, New Zealand. It's so good for you. A few encountered problems with New Zealand neighbours who had some difficulty adjusting to foreigners. Well, tell me about it. I have difficulty to adjust in my birthplace here. The neighbours are not really friendly. So, and even though I'm Hungarian. Later 20th century arrivals. Around 300 Hungarians, I almost said Spartans, and I almost did it with a straight face. Yeah, seriously. These numbers are awesome. Around 300 Hungarians arrived between the early 60s and 70s, some as refugees fleeing from communism in Eastern Europe. After that time, an irregular stream of migrants continued to come from Hungary. Since 2000, the flow has increased, though the number is still very small. Yeah, actually, last year there were 10,000 Hungarians leaving the country. Before that only were 2,000 or 3,000. That's an increase, but it's still not the majority of the population. So actually, the chance that some Hungarians arrive to New Zealand is very, very slim. Because nobody really knew anything about New Zealand, other than the Lord of the Rings movies were made there. And I didn't know anything about New Zealand before I contacted someone, or someone contacted me from New Zealand. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. So this is it. Meanwhile, in New Zealand, the removing of all the containers containing milk and powder and sugar or whatnot, I think it's completed. So, you know, it's almost done. Nowadays, the only problem is the earthquakes, which basically just desolated the whole city. 500,000 people lived there. I don't know how many died. Probably not many, because the report didn't say anything about death and suffering and fear and whatever. So I think people are going to be nice. But comparing this to a Hungarian disaster, there was some sort of red thingy flowing all over the western part of Hungary, red mud or of some sort, and the government didn't really help. Volunteers helped, God bless them, and the cows bless them, but no one really did anything officially. Insurance companies didn't really pay. So the fact that the New Zealand shipwrecks insurance company didn't really paid only £1 million, well, lucky you. So I believe this is it. Well, in this part we're going to try to learn something nice about Hungary. Now, this is not the book I'm going to use in these sessions, because I have a nice Wikipedia article printed out, but to be honest, this is a fine book and it has nice pictures in it. So I'm going to show some of these pictures to you as we go through the brief history of Hungary. Now, the problem is, when it comes to Hungarian history, is that we don't know where or when it really began. Now, for this, let me get my reading glasses. It would be more romantic if I didn't tell you that these are not really reading glasses, but, well, it looks nice. Actually, I don't really need glasses, but, you know, it's not a hat, and I don't really need a hat, because there is so much heat with 3 reflectors and stuff. Okay, anyway, this is history for, well, children. This part of the children part. So Hungarian history for children. Now, since I'm a child of some sort, at least deep down, then this is a really nice book for me. Now, let's begin with the beginning. The beginning of Hungarian history is in the myth. That's it. I mean, we don't know. We know that we come from the east. East, west, whatever. East. So there is a mountain called Ural, and a very nice region of basically Asia, Russia. So this is where we are now, and this is where we supposedly come from. So you see, this is the Black Sea. It's quite a big territory. This is another sea. This is the Lake Aral, the largest sweetwater lake, and this might be our original home. So we've come a long way to this really nice part of the world, but yeah, it still doesn't change the fact that we don't really know, and sometimes it drives us crazy because we Hungarians like fighting a lot. We don't like discussing things, and we don't like arguing about stuff. We like fighting about stuff. So, is it really true that we come from the east? Yes, no. Yes, no. Well, the truth is, who knows? Well, maybe linguists know, because in languages there are families, like in real world. Now, and this could be a nice chart about things. This, well, this is us, and as you can see, there was a base language called the Ural base language or main language or whatever, and maybe we are part of this family because linguists found evidence of it. So it would be really nice because it would solve our problems, I believe. I don't know which problems I am referring to, but who knows. So basically what we did these times were basically building houses, using bows and arrows. That is a very, very famous, and it's supposed to be a Hungarian invention. It's a very powerful bow. Yeah, that's it. It's so powerful that its range is really, really far. It's further actually than the basic European bow's range. And this is the first advantage. The second advantage is that it's very, very light, because you don't because of its shape, you don't have to use a very, very great amount of material. in order to make it. So basically you make a very little tiny bow and just you know, carry it on your horse. Now what we did with this arrow is we stormed it to Europe, attacked countries, really nice move, and basically we attacked them and then simulated a sort of flee from the enemy, and then our archers just riding the horse, you know, casually riding the horse, and then they turned back and just bow and just arrowed and bowed the hell out of everyone. So it worked for quite a while. Basically we arrived to the Carpathian Basin around 895, 96, and it took at least 60 years to the Europeans to find something against these arrows and bows. So when we arrived, we were a bunch of bullies actually, and the arrival is not very clear. Perhaps some say because we were fleeing from other nations. I believe that could be true. Or perhaps we just, you know, stumbled upon a basin and hey, that seems like a nice place to live, let's take it from other people. Now who knows? But the truth is, we arrived at 895, 6, and until 966 there was really about everything about bullying the Europeans. So it's a nice introduction, I believe. But around 1000 AD, obviously we're talking about AD times, about 1000 our leaders thought it would be a neat idea to join the Christian community of Europe. So basically what we did is joined the Christian community, received the crown from the Pope, and things were very, very happy. Things were going very nicely. And yeah, there we go. And this is not our first king, because our first king was called István, but this is another king, and you know, it's a coronation ceremony. It's really nice. Now what happened is that we started to conquer the surrounding nations, or whatever they were called back then, and basically there was a Hungary this big at one time. It's nice, isn't it? These are all the territories we owned. So Transylvania and Croatia and other things. The former Yugoslavia, parts of Austria, and parts of the now Slovakia. And when it comes to Trianon and all that stuff, we're talking about these territories, because well, throughout the time, except the Turkish people and others who tried to conquer all these lands, we actually could hold onto these territories somehow. And as times flew, there were a lot of uprising and stuff, and the first bloodline of kings, it started with István, just ceased to exist because of all the killing and drama. And there was a time when Hungary was controlled about the big families, the big noble families like Csák Máté, Ákos István, Kőszegi, and others. Now actually I knew a person called whose last name was Kőszegi, and obviously this name comes from this era, and Csák, Ákos, Kán, Petenye, Aba, and others. So but after that came the kings again, and there was a very, very famous king of Hungary called Matthias. We call him Mátyás. There we go, Hunyadi Mátyás. Basically what he did is what our government does right now, actually. He wanted to wage war on everybody, and in order to do that he needed money, so he basically accumulated money from everybody. So what happened is he created new taxes and stuff. But he actually conquered a lot of land. He actually made Hungary a safer place. And rumors says, and stories, fairy tales says, that he dressed as a poor homeless person and just traveled around the country and punished everybody, especially noble people, who did bad things. So we have a lot of stories about him. He was very famous, and basically he added a little bit more to Hungary, like this and these territories, especially the western part. He wanted to be well, not really a world conqueror. It's just he wanted to be the head of the German Roman Empire. He didn't succeed because at the siege of Vienna he got poisoned. So, well, that's the end of that story. But as I said, we were going on about, I don't know, a couple of 100 years now, 500 years, and we still have these territories. It's really nice, to be honest. So, where were we? Okay, so we still had a big territory at our hands. Now, a lot of things happened. There was a time when the Turkish attacked that basically these are the Turkish territories, these are Hungary, no, this is Hungary, sort of, and this is Transylvania, the Kingdom of Transylvania. Now, Transylvania was really always like a friend to us, and they had a sort of autonomy like Tibet nowadays. There is a sort of Tibetan government. The real government is in northern India, you know, the Dalai Lama and stuff, and they demand more authority. So that's what Transylvania always was to Hungary, a sort of autonomic place, you know, but they were always part of Hungary. So anyway, very many things. We finally defeated the Turkish. We tried to just do our job here, try to gain a little bit more territory over the years. As you can see, I'm turning the pages, and at some point, sort of, it's not really a democracy what kicked in, but there was a parliament after years, and there was a very famous revolution in Hungary in 1848 and 49. 48 was a revolution, and 49 was basically a freedom fight. Now, who against who did we fight? That's not really a mystery. Basically, it's well, to be honest, we fought the it's not that easy. We'll come to that part, and when we arrive, I will talk about that in many details. But right now, just this should be enough. So, after that, we are at 1859, around 1859. Remember, almost 1,000 years passed now, because we arrived at 897, and it's almost 100 and 870, you know, you get the point. And the size of Hungary is still pretty big. You see over there? That's Hungary. And after these times, there were 2 world wars, and because we were at the wrong side, basically we lost territories like this. So Transylvania is missing, a lot of other things are missing. There is no Hungarian seaside anymore. And then after the Second World War, these territories were taken from us, so that leaves the Hungary we know today. So in the 20th 20th century, I believe, if I count that correctly, in the 20th century we lost all the territories we gained the last 1,000 years. And I believe this is why many of the Hungarian people are upset, because we had a really nice run, it was quite long, and now we are just a remainder of something, and it upsets people, especially Hungarians, because we like to dominate stuff. We like to say bad things about you. For example, you're stupid, you're not good enough, I hate you because, you know, you're clearly wrong, and stuff. And since we are a very small country, more than half of the people are living abroad. I mean, you know, from my point of view, whoever lives in Transylvania, for example, and is Hungarian, is a foreigner. So more than half of the people live abroad in different parts of the world, especially the you know, the immigrants into America, to Canada, to New Zealand, and stuff. So and that's, I believe this is what's missing in our lives. It's like we are living, we are dressed in very poor clothes or something, and we are ashamed of all these things, and you know, it comes forward as frustration and anger and whatever. No, basically, really, whatever. So this is the brief history of Hungary for children, but it's not really for children, because history is history. So I believe that you can understand all the drama we were, you know, we suffered. Let's say we suffered. And compared to America, who has 200 years of history, it's not that brief. It's not that short. We are very much older. Compared to China, we are nothing. I mean, 8,000 years of history is like, wow, that's deep. So this is it, and the next time we're starting with the basic things in life in the early years of Hungarian life. Alright, and now let's go to the studio, I believe. So, time is a very important and essential thing when it comes to videos. There is a time limit with every film. It's about 2–2.5 hours. You go into the cinema and you can't really leave without seeing the whole film. Here in the online world, you can always click away. You can always only a click from leaving that unnecessary thing you just wanted to see for some reason. Now, watching an hour video on YouTube is, I believe, it's really something. So if you have the time, first, of course, and if you have the patience to that, well, that's something. But as long as it informs you about stuff, well, you know, a film is about all the new information you can get in a subject. So here, this is quite a complex info. I try to use some kind of connections between the parts, so I believe I couldn't do it in many parts, and no one would be really interested. I mean, it's either you watch the whole thing, or just go back from time to time, or nothing. So if I presented this episode in 5 or 6 or 10 parts, it wouldn't be better. It would be just confusing, because this is not a very big movie we are talking about. But enough about the length. Now, there's one thing I really want to talk about, and this is the following thing. There is a thing called a comic strip. You see? It's very nice. I printed it out. It's not originally black and white, but I printed it out because I can look at it while I'm talking about it. Now, the problem with this is it's kind of a harsh comic. I found this on a Hungarian website called 5minutes.net. And of course it's not 5 minutes, it's ötperc.net, but you know, you don't really speak Hungarian perhaps, so you are not good. Even if you're not, even if it's not helping, even if I give you the right address. But this is a Hungarian website. They usually translate stuff. I don't really look at them, but I found this on Facebook. Now, let me read this together. First, it asks this pigeon or whatever, asked Jesus to just get up, and he says, "Oh my God, my head still hurts, and all my friends betrayed me and stuff." And then they say, just leave it alone, you'll be fine. And then Jesus asks what day it is, and they answer with the date, but he says no, it's Judgment Day. And they present us with this little drawing. I hope you get the idea. This is Jesus becoming Hitler. Now, normally I'm not against religion, and I'm not with religion. You know, I don't really want to, maybe because I'm a Buddhist, I don't really want to convert people, but I tell you this, if you have strong feelings with a religion, then you might hate it. But it's not really polite just wishing the person who created this to die, or to say this is blasphemy, because obviously this is bad for you. This could be, if you did this, you probably wouldn't go to heaven, but you didn't do it. It's just some people lurking around the internet, you know, creating some funny things which funny for them. But what's really interesting is the way Hungarians, religious or non-religious Hungarians, reacted to this. It was a full-out war about how the person who created this comic should die, and the one who said this person should die was also advised to hang herself, also advised that she must be, well, it was a she must be communist, or either the communist, Jew, gypsy, or whatever, and she should also die. Mostly the comments were about this. It was about, I don't know, 100 comments. This is not a very famous web page, so 100 comments on this is huge. So, and this leads me to the explanation I think I need to give you about Hungarian thinking. Now, the average Hungarian believes in stuff, which means that either they are religious or non-religious, atheists, whatever, they believe in a matrix, or whoever and whatever, Scientologists perhaps. Now, they are very, very rude and harsh people. And believe me, I do not mean that religious people are harsh. Everybody is. So you have to, with spy methods, you have to just uncover that person's secrets, who you know, before you make any comments. So, if you're a Hungarian and I tell you that, well, my personal beliefs is that, I don't know, Buddhists are stupid. And you would say that, well, I should die or hang myself, go away on a, I don't know, on a little island, and then hang myself there, and whatever. Now, I've read very, very harsh comments on the internet in English, but not nearly as harsh as in Hungarians. So people usually say about other people that they are ugly, they should go, or maybe they should die. But in English, I have never felt that it would be a really, really strong something. Perhaps because it's not my native language, but even though I speak quite a lot these days, and it's just not that powerful. But Hungarians, with their cursing and with their constant personal comments and their all-knowing personality, they keep fighting about these things and they don't let go. So after a while, when somebody comments about something new, something creative, they usually sink into, I don't know, unknown. Hungarians never let go. So if a Hungarian, for example, wanted to comment on my videos on this channel, about how bad I am and I should die because I dare to make these episodes I'm making, then it's not without any particular reason. So not because I am talking about the government, not because I'm talking about Hungary, no, just because I dare to make these videos. And they are not very professional or something. And then they stick with me. So they stick till the end. They don't let go. If someone starts to comment on your channel or whatever, finds you, they will stick with you like friends. So this is what I think about when it comes to this comic strip. This can't let go, cursing, constantly fighting attitude of Hungarians. And this is a nationwide thing, so I don't just go around and I talk about 5 people who commented over and over and over again. No, I'm talking about many Hungarians. So that is the problem. By the way, the fact that nobody ever commented on this channel I'm making anything bad. I mean, I received advices. Maybe they were a little bit harsh or just commanding that do this, do that, but they were not nearly as powerful as anything that I would say that's rude. And to me, it's absolutely surprising to me that somebody, even one person in the universe, watch this video and comment on it, write me an email or something. That and it's all positive. That's almost unbelievable. I mean, I think you. I think I'm on some sort of. I'm in a zone, perhaps. So the thing is that no one has found my channel and just wrote something really bad over and over again. I hope it's not going to happen, because Hungarians, like any other people on a planet, are sensitive about this stuff. So, you might reason that I am making these things for free. I don't expect any money. So you can watch it literally for free. And I try to improve this series for free. So you would think that why on earth would I try to just ruin it, try to tell you that don't do these things? We Hungarians do. So that's about it. And I believe this was enough for this episode. I hope it's going to be under an hour, but I can't make promises, because right now the parts are coming together, and it seems that it's going to take up a longer time. And I hope that these things are interesting enough for you to watch them. And right now I'm still in the beta process, so please just don't tell me they are very boring. But later on, I think I will ask that how the overall thing would work, or how the overall things are. Are they boring? Are they not? Okay, anyway, just leave it that way right now, and I think I need to go. I need to say goodbye, and I need to go. So have a nice week or something like that.